What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the Noble M600. To be honest, I don't remember actually ever seeing a card like this in a racing game, so it is really going to be new to me. And by the way, do stay tuned for tomorrow. I will also be covering the M500 as well, which I have to admit looks insanely nice with that body design. But nonetheless, though, guys, going back to the M600, so this car was released in 2010, so it's going to be slightly older, especially with the M500 being basically brand new. But nonetheless, though, let's go take a look at the customization for this M600. So I have to admit one thing, I do actually like the body design on this car, even though I do think in some areas you can definitely tell it looks insanely different, I guess you could say. But this is obviously going to be like a British supercar, so I saw something about the engine on this vehicle being like a Yamaha Volvo V8, so I found that pretty interesting. But I have to admit, though, the overall design of this car definitely looks insanely unique, though. And then moving over to the customization, so both of these cars actually have a lot that can be done. This one actually has 8 total hoods you can put on it, and I would say most of them are actually going to look decent, at least compared to some other cars. And then moving over to the front bumpers, there's only going to be 4 of these. Unlike that one car that had like 50 front bumpers, that was honestly ridiculous. But moving over to the front fenders, so let's see what you can do to this car. So I do like the front vents, that actually looks kind of nice on there. Ooh, look at the carbon. Let's go with that one. Then we have the, looks like a front splitter that's, is that carbon? That is carbon. Then we have that one. Then we have like the yellow fog lights. That's kind of interesting. Then we have, ooh, a wide body kit. Look at that. Okay, so the wide body kit does fit kind of nice. I don't know how I feel about that though. I'm not sure if I'd actually use that. Okay, that's actually kind of dope. So you can obviously make it like a wide body race car, but why don't we save that for like a crazy summit car in the future? But then again, I would probably say a lot more players are going to want to see other cars that are most likely not the Noble in one of these summits. But moving over to the next thing, guys, is going to be the rims. So for this car, you only have the regular stock rims, which if I had to guess, most likely look better than the other 81 rims you actually get. And then of course we have the caliper color. So for me, I most likely would actually change the color of this car to like something else. So let's look here. How about we go yellow? Go back to the visual parts here. Head back to the calipers. And then for this, I might actually go with like a... Is that too much yellow? Yeah, that might be too much yellow. Let's go with red calipers. And then moving over to the mirrors, we have the carbon. Let's go with those. And then moving over to the side rear fenders here. So I did notice, guys, it looks like it actually mixes both of these together with like these side skirts. So let's see which ones we have here. So it changes that. Wait, did it change the back piece? Oh, it changes the whole back piece to carbon. Looks kind of cool, actually. What's this one? And there's the wide body kit. Not really feeling that. Although that does actually look kind of cool. What in the world is that vent? That vent cannot actually work. There ain't no way. And then moving over to these side skirts, I actually think they did connect these with like these side skirts. So it's going to be like one piece of customization. Ooh, that changed the back piece of the carbon. That's kind of cool. Let's go with this one. Then we have the wide body carbon pieces. Ooh, that gives it like a little like lip wing there. That's kind of dope. Then we have a lot of carbon and or like a crazy looking vent. Is that okay, that's pretty much it. So moving over to the rear wing now, let's check these out here. What the? That one does not look that good. Let's go with this one here. Moving over to the bumpers, there is now 5 other ones. Ooh, look at the dual exhaust on that. That's sweet. Let's go with that. Also, the back end of this car, for some odd reason, also looks like an Audi R8. At least with this exhaust setup for that matter. But we also have this one. I also do excuse the sounds, guys, if you do hear that. It's actually thundering and lightning really bad when I was recording this video, so can't really do much about that, especially in Florida. But let's check out the interior. Oh, so this thing is actually yellow. Let's go with like a blue stitched interior. That would look, ooh, yeah, that looks nice. Let's check this out here. We have the, so it makes that piece carbon fiber, but like the regular middle piece stays carbon. That's kind of odd. Let's just keep the carbon piece here. So it does look like that will end up doing it for the customization of this Noble M600. Do not worry, guys, it doesn't have 50 front and or rear bumpers like the lovely RS2 Avant. But my goodness, I have to admit, with this setup being yellow, I really do feel like this Noble actually fits this color very nicely. Like, some cars honestly don't look that great in yellow, but Then again, some cars honestly don't look great in certain colors anyway, so I guess it really does depend on like which spec you guys actually want your car. But nonetheless though, let's go do an outside look of this car right now, and also take this car on a quick top speed test. So moving over to the outside view of the Noble here, so the first thing you most likely notice is how crazy this car does actually look. Now the main reason why I say that is I have never actually seen a Noble in person, and or I don't think I've ever actually seen one in a racing game, which now that I think about it, I don't actually think this car is actually in any games, is it? Weird. But regardless though, this thing really does look pretty dang awesome, so I really do find it crazy by the way how like a lot of these designers really do make these cars different in their own ways. Every car has like their own different like wheel designs and like engine designs, and I really do find that pretty insane. And as I did mention earlier, this car is indeed going to be a Yamaha Volvo V8, which actually sounds pretty dang awesome. So moving over to the interior view of the Noble M600, guys, so one thing I have to admit, I really do like the way this car does look. For some odd reason, I don't know why, but I do like when cars are a tad more simple. I really am not like a big fan of having like a 15-inch tablet on your vehicle, which, don't get me wrong, I do understand to like a certain point it might make some kind of sense, but I really do like the way this car is actually simple, and that's most likely why I do like vehicles like this and or like that old type of design. But this thing really does look pretty dang nice inside. You can see like the carbon fiber. I also do like the way that dash looks. Plus this thing has 34,000 kilometers, so whoever actually had this car did drive it. And then of course in the middle you're going to see those three lovely dials, which I don't believe those are moving, which they probably shouldn't be. But overall though guys, the Noble M600 looks pretty dang sweet. But now besides all that though, let's go see what the Noble's top speed is going to be. So for this car, guys, it is obviously going to be a hypercar, so I would expect this thing to hit at least 280 miles an hour. I would probably say if it doesn't hit at least 290 though, it's probably going to be considered slow. You know, because most of the Bugattis do like 600 and whoa! Okay, that's I will have to adjust my settings. I don't know what that actually is, but besides that though, let's go see if we can actually get this car too, as long as I don't actually crash again. My goodness, that was terrible, but I would check out the settings after this here. Let's get around this turn. So it's going to be a 6-speed. Let's see if we can get it to a Nitro Chemist. Please don't crash again. Oh, and we got a big truck in front of us. Oh, so it does look like, guys, the top speed on this car isn't going to be insanely high. So 294 miles an hour, 295, and I did crash. Well, okay. Imagine crashing like that in a few seconds and then realizing that you actually have to do a top speed test. So let's go back onto the highway over here and let's see if I can do this here. So, oh look at that, so 293 miles an hour again. So it does look like, guys, the top speed of the Noble is definitely not going to be insanely high, but who knows though, maybe 294 miles an hour isn't actually going to matter. I wouldn't say like a lower top speed on a car is going to be an issue, but if you do go against something like a Bugatti, then it's most likely going to be a problem. Now, one thing I do have to admit though is even though the top speed is lower, I wouldn't necessarily say that's going to make this a bad car, because let's be honest, a lot of these Bugattis and or a lot of these faster cars do tend to need a lot more nitrous to actually get like above 310, so seeing something like the M600 only hit around 295 miles an hour honestly makes me think this car is most likely going to hurt. And the main reason why I say that is a lot of players are most likely not going to pick it, and that's probably going to come down to the fact of this car being a tad slower, and a lot of players are most likely going to be like, well, why would I pick something like the Noble when I could pick something like a Bugatti and probably do way better with that car, at least in a lot of the summits, and or even if you actually just wanted to race. So the M600 having that lower top speed might end up hurting it a bit, but I would still say this car isn't actually going to be terrible. Now, one thing I do have to admit though, the handling and or stability of this car is by far not going to be the best in this class by any means whatsoever. I was having a few runs like you guys did see in the top speed test, for example, going around that turn, the car basically lost itself completely, so I did go in and try to fix some things with the handling and or like the pro settings, and I would say the car is going to be slightly better than it was before, but trust me when I say this, it's still not going to be better than some of the other hypercars like the Senna. If you were to put both of these cars on like a racetrack and or like some of these smaller hypercar events, the Senna is most likely going to obliterate the Noble M600 in basically every way, so I guess it really does come down to which car you guys do actually like more. For me, I honestly cannot wait to test out the M500 to see if that car is better. I really do like the look of that one a lot more than the M600, but I'm actually really surprised we do have the Nobles in this game because I'm pretty sure we do not have the Nobles in any like big racing game at all, so actually seeing this car being added is indeed going to be pretty awesome, even though the overall performance on this vehicle is by far not going to be up to par, especially considering many of the other hypercars are going to be much better. I would probably say a lot of players are probably not going to be picking this vehicle for events, and they're most likely going to be picking other cars, and if I had to guess though, the Noble M600 is most likely going to be a collector's item for many players. I find this thing is like a great car to actually move over to Motorfest, and it's probably going to be a pretty rare car because a lot of players most likely won't buy this, so I would recommend checking out this car, guys. It's definitely not going to be like the best hypercar. It does honestly look pretty dang awesome, so maybe it does have that going for it. I would like to know your thoughts on this car in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more insight.